Who would have thought that 7 men from South Korea could unite millions of hearts across the planet? From the bustling streets of Southeast Asia to the roaring stadiums of America, from glowing purple oceans at concerts to late-night playlists in lonely bedrooms, something extraordinary is happening. A movement, a phenomenon, a wave that speaks not just through lyrics, but through emotion, dreams, and connection. Some call it music, others call it magic. But for millions, it's something far deeper than either word can describe. In every country, from the tropics to the tundra, from megacities to small towns, people of every age and background are coming together for one reason, one name that has redefined global pop culture. And yet, there's a question that stirs curiosity in every fan's heart. A question that goes beyond fame, beyond charts, beyond trends. Where, in this vast and connected world, does the heartbeat of this movement echo the loudest? Who carries the torch with the fiercest devotion, the purest passion, and the most unstoppable energy? This is not a story of numbers. This is a journey through feeling, through the rhythm of countless lives changed by a single spark. It's about dedication, unity, and the invisible thread that ties strangers together across oceans. And somewhere out there, the answer waits, hidden among cheering crowds, glowing screens, and hearts that beat in perfect time with the music. So buckle up, keep your curiosity close, and let your imagination drift across continents as we dive into a story that transcends borders and languages. A story about people, passion, and something far greater than fame. This is where the world meets the sound of inspiration. This is Gamsuk Stories. Number 7. Thailand. In Thailand, fandom isn't just about music. It's a movement that beats in unison with the rhythm of a nation that lives and breathes passion. When it comes to BTS, Thai Army have built something far beyond admiration. They've created a living, breathing ecosystem of devotion. From the moment a BTS comeback is announced, Thailand transforms into a sea of purple. Billboards light up across Bangkok, cafes switch their entire menu themes to match each member, and shopping malls host pop-up exhibitions where fans can gather, sing, and share their love. What's striking about Thailand's BTS fandom isn't just their visibility, but their unity. They organize, they plan, and they act with precision, like a symphony conducted by emotion. Birthdays of BTS members turn into massive public events. It's not unusual to see the faces of RM, Jimin, or Jungkook glowing across LED screens at train stations, airports, and even the BTS SkyTrain itself, a coincidence that never fails to make fans smile. Every year, Army Thailand push boundaries to make each celebration bigger, more creative, and more meaningful. But behind all the glitter and grand displays, there's an emotional truth that keeps the fandom strong: their connection to BTS's message. For Thai Army, songs like Magic Shop, Answer, Love Myself, and Spring Day aren't just melodies, they're mantras that help them survive, grow, and keep faith in themselves. The idea of self-love and perseverance that BTS preaches resonates deeply in a country where kindness and resilience are already cultural cornerstones. Many young Thai fans have shared stories about how BTS inspired them to study Korean, pursue art, or simply hold on through hard times. Social media plays a huge role here. Every major BTS event sees Thai language hashtags climbing to the top of global Twitter trends. Raujet Rock Bangtan to Lot Pai, We Will Love Bangtan Forever has become almost a national declaration of loyalty. Whether it's a live stream, a concert broadcast, or a new music video drop, Thailand consistently ranks among the top 10 countries in the world for YouTube views and streaming numbers. It's proof that Army Thailand are not just watching, they're participating in something bigger than themselves. Charity is another pillar of their fandom culture. Inspired by BTS's humanitarian acts, Thai fans regularly organize donation drives for hospitals, animal shelters, and educational programs.
During the pandemic, Army Thailand raised funds to send protective gear to healthcare workers. When floods hit certain regions, fan bases came together to provide relief, all in the name of BTS. These are not publicity stunts, they're acts of genuine compassion that mirror the band's core philosophy, that love, when shared, multiplies. The fandom's influence is now so strong that universities in Bangkok and Chiang Mai have even hosted cultural studies projects on K-pop fandom behavior, citing Army Thailand as a case study in digital organization and emotional resilience. Local businesses, too, have caught the wave, selling BTS-themed products, running fan discounts, and using purple as a marketing signature during BTS events. The purple economy, as local media calls it, has become a seasonal boom. And perhaps what makes Thailand's fandom so powerful is the balance between joy and reverence. Thai Army are loud when celebrating, but tender when remembering. When Jin enlisted, fans gathered in small circles, singing softly together while holding candles. When BTS won awards abroad, cheers erupted online as if the victory were their own. There's a sense of shared identity, of being part of a global family, yet proudly Thai at heart. In Thailand, to be Army means to believe in something that transcends distance and language. It means transforming admiration into action and emotion into art. So when the lights dim and the purple glow fills the air, it's not just about a band. It's about a community united by rhythm, respect, and relentless hope. And that's why in 2025, Thailand proudly stands as the #7 country with the most BTS fans in the world, a place where music and love flow together like a heartbeat that never stops.
Number 6. India. In a country of more than 1 billion hearts, where languages change every few hundred kilometers and music pulses through every street, a new sound has found its home. BTS. India, with its vast cultural mosaic and unstoppable youth energy, has become one of the fastest-growing centers of BTS fandom on Earth. What started as a few online fan accounts back in the mid-2010s has evolved into a movement so powerful that even the biggest Bollywood stars have taken notice. The Indian Army isn't just big, it's monumental, and it's growing every single day. When BTS first began making waves globally, few would have imagined the kind of devotion they'd inspire in India. But something clicked, something deep and emotional. The themes of their music, self-love, struggle, youth, and a search for identity, resonated with millions of Indian fans facing their own battles in a fast-changing world. Songs like Epiphany and Life Goes On became anthems of comfort. Dynamite and Butter became soundtracks for celebration. And when BTS addressed mental health, pressure, and resilience, Indian fans listened. They related. They found pieces of their own stories hidden in the lyrics. The fandom's rise is nothing short of cinematic. Across India, from bustling Mumbai and Delhi to the artistic streets of Kolkata and the tech hubs of Bangalore and Hyderabad, purple has quietly taken over. Cafes serve BTS-themed lattes, bookstores sell limited edition BTS photo books, and murals of Jungkook and Taehyung appear on alley walls painted by fans who see art as their love letter. BTS fan clubs in India have become highly organized, forming vast networks that coordinate projects, stream music videos, and raise awareness about social causes, all under the Army banner. One of the most astonishing aspects of India's fandom is their unity across languages. With over 20 major languages spoken nationwide, communication could have been chaos, but for Army India, it's harmony. Twitter threads switch effortlessly between Hindi, English, Tamil, Bengali, and Malayalam, all saying one thing: BTS changed my life. When the band released their Proof album, Indian fans collectively trended hashtags in multiple languages at once, a digital wave so massive it made global headlines. YouTube statistics also tell the story. India consistently ranks in the top 5 countries for BTS music video views, with tens of millions tuning in for every comeback. But this isn't just about screens and streams.
The Indian Army has taken BTS's message of kindness and turned it into action. On BTS members' birthdays, fans donate blood, plant trees, sponsor education for underprivileged children, and fund animal rescue efforts. In 2023, during Jimin's birthday week, Army India raised enough money to build a classroom for a rural school in Bihar. During the floods in Kerala, fan bases joined forces to send food and medical aid to affected families. It's philanthropy inspired by art, a testament to how BTS's influence transcends entertainment and transforms into empathy. And yet the fandom story isn't without challenges. For years, fans in India faced limited access to official merchandise, concert live streams, and even time zone differences that made staying up for comebacks a test of endurance. But rather than fade, that struggle became part of their identity. They waited, they adapted. They built their own infrastructure, local fan bases, unofficial merch collectives, and online communities that became families. The resilience of Indian Army mirrors the resilience BTS often sings about. It's poetic, really. Today, the presence of BTS in India feels almost inevitable. Korean language classes are booming, with young people eager to understand lyrics without translations. Dance academies now offer K-pop choreography sessions, often filled with BTS covers. And every few months, in major cities, you'll find flash mobs performing Boy With Love or Idol in public squares, drawing crowds who may not know the words, but can feel the joy. What truly sets India apart, though, is the scale of emotion. When BTS appear in global live streams, the YouTube chat floods with purple hearts and Hindi phrases of love. When the band speaks about hope, Indian fans echo the message like a mantra. And when BTS members enlisted in the military, countless fans across India posted personal letters online, messages filled with gratitude, pride, and promises to wait. In a country where cinema and music have always been intertwined with emotion, BTS have become something sacred, a source of healing, a symbol of global connection, a reminder that art knows no boundaries. So when you think of India, think beyond the colors and chaos, beyond the noise and the numbers. Think of millions of hearts beating in sync to the same rhythm, of fans who stay awake past midnight to join a global live stream, of strangers who've become family through shared playlists and purple dreams. Because in India, BTS isn't just a band, they're a bridge between languages, between hearts, between who we are and who we hope to be. And that's why in 2025, India proudly stands as number 6 on the list of countries with the largest BTS fandoms in the world. Proof that even in the world's most diverse nation, music truly is a universal language.
Number 5. Mexico. Beneath the vibrant sun of Latin America, where music has always been woven into the soul of everyday life, a new rhythm echoes through the streets. A rhythm born thousands of miles away in Seoul, but felt deeply in every Mexican heart that beats to the sound of BTS. Welcome to Mexico, the country that has turned admiration into celebration and fandom into family. The story of BTS in Mexico isn't just about concerts or charts, it's about emotion, community, and the fire that never dies once it's lit. The Mexican army is a force of pure passion, and their love for BTS burns brighter than the neon lights of Mexico City at night. It all began quietly, almost like a whisper. When BTS debuted, only a handful of fans in Mexico knew their names. They shared music videos through fan forums, translated lyrics into Spanish, and gathered in tiny cafes just to watch Bangtan's performances together. But then came the breakthrough, when BTS's music started to transcend the language barrier, resonating with a country that has always worn its heart on its sleeve. Mexico understood emotion, sincerity, and storytelling, and BTS gave them all three in every verse, every beat, every performance. Within a few short years, what began as small fan circles turned into massive fan bases, and suddenly Mexico became one of the loudest voices in the Army universe. Today, Mexican armies are among the most active in the world. Every comeback feels like a national holiday, with social media filled with purple hearts, hashtags, and digital art. When BTS drops a teaser or music video, Mexico consistently ranks in the top 10 countries for YouTube views worldwide. When there's a voting campaign for awards, Mexican armies unite like a single heartbeat, mobilizing thousands, staying up all night to vote, share, and support. It's that unity, that unstoppable spirit that has made Mexico the beating heart of BTS fandom in Latin America. But it's not just online, it's everywhere. On the walls of Guadalajara and Monterrey, you'll find murals of Jimin and Taeyang painted with intricate detail. In Mexico City, entire pop-up cafes are transformed into BTS shrines during member birthdays, complete with themed desserts, playlists, and photo zones that attract fans from across the country. Even public transit gets a purple makeover. Buses and metro ads funded by fans proclaim messages of love and pride for BTS. But yet, what truly defines Army Mexico is how they carry BTS's message into real life. Inspired by the group's values of kindness and self-love, fans have created charity projects that touch countless lives. On Jin's birthday, they donated thousands of meals to local food banks. For RM, they planted trees across multiple states as part of an environmental campaign. And during the pandemic, armies organized donation drives to support frontline workers, proudly stating it was in the name of BTS. Each project is not just an act of giving, it's a translation of BTS's lyrics into action, proof that music can move not just the heart, but the world itself. Mexico's love affair with BTS also ties deeply to its cultural DNA. Music for Mexicans is more than entertainment, it's identity. It's how they express joy, pain, resistance, and love. So when BTS sings about youth, struggle, and hope, those messages strike chords that run through generations. The emotional honesty in songs like Young Forever or The Truth Untold mirrors the soul of Latin ballads, while the energy of Idol and Mic Drop resonates with the fiery rhythm of reggaeton and pop that fills Mexican streets. It's no surprise that fans say, "We don't just listen, we feel." The connection between BTS and Mexico deepened even further through concerts. When BTS included Latin America in their world tours, Mexico's response was overwhelming. Tickets sold out in minutes, stadiums filled with oceans of purple lights, fans singing every Korean lyric with perfect timing. In those moments, borders disappeared. There was no distance between Seoul and Mexico City. Only music, only love. Even BTS members themselves have spoken about the energy of Latin fans, describing their cheers as some of the loudest in the world. That pride fuels Mexican armies even more. They want to show that their devotion isn't fleeting, it's forever. But beyond all the noise and spectacle, what's most beautiful is the personal side of fandom. Countless fans in Mexico tell stories of how BTS helped them through depression, heartbreak, or loneliness. They talk about finding courage in Suga's words, confidence in J-Hope's smile, comfort in Jin's humor. They've created safe spaces, online groups, and community meetups where fans can share struggles, dreams, and healing journeys. For many, being ARMY isn't just about standing an idol, it's about belonging. And in a world where loneliness is easy to find, that belonging is everything. Today, in 2025, BTS's presence in Mexico is undeniable. Korean language classes are growing, K-pop dance studios are flourishing, and media outlets regularly report on fan-led projects. Even the cultural bridge between Korea and Mexico is getting stronger, with exchanges, art collaborations, and joint events celebrating both traditions. And through it all, the Army remains at the center, cheering, creating, inspiring. So when we say Mexico stands tall at number 5, it's not just about numbers or streaming data. It's about spirit. It's about millions of hearts that beat to the same rhythm, shouting the same name in unison, BTS. Because in Mexico, their love isn't measured in views or votes. It's measured in passion, in unity, and in the endless purple glow that lights up their nights, proving that music knows no borders, and love needs no translation.
Number 4. Brazil. Deep in the heart of South America, where rhythm and emotion flow through every vein of life, there's a country that doesn't just listen to music, it feels it.
a place where voices rise in harmony, where dance is a language, and where love for BTS burns with a heat as fierce as the tropical sun. Welcome to Brazil, home to one of the most passionate, creative, and electrifying BTS fandoms in the entire world. When the Purple Wave first reached Brazilian shores, it didn't just land, it exploded. What began as small fan gatherings in São Paulo cafes a decade ago has grown into a nationwide phenomenon that unites millions. For Brazilian ARMY, BTS isn't just a boy band, they're a movement, a mirror, and a message that speaks straight to the soul. Brazil's connection with BTS is powerful because it's emotional at its core. The country has always had a deep relationship with music that tells stories, whether it's samba, bossa nova, or pop. So when BTS came along singing about pain, self-love, and resilience, Brazilian hearts understood instantly. It wasn't about language, it was about feeling. Love Myself, Blue and Gray, and Spring Day became anthems not just for fans, but for anyone who's ever struggled and found solace in song. ARMY Brazil turned that emotion into a wave of togetherness unlike any other. Step into the streets of Rio de Janeiro during a BTS comeback and you'll see purple everywhere. Cafe windows plastered with fan art, billboards glowing with birthday messages for Jungkook or Taeyong, subway walls lined with stickers declaring "Nos amamos BTS," we love BTS. And the love doesn't stop there. Every major city, from Curitiba to Salvador, hosts BTS fan festivals, where thousands gather to watch performances on giant screens, recreate choreography, and sing in Korean, Portuguese, and pure joy. These aren't just fan meets, they're cultural celebrations, proof that BTS's music has woven itself into the rhythm of Brazilian life. But if there's one thing that truly defines ARMY Brazil, it's their energy during live events. When BTS performed in São Paulo during their Love Yourself, Speak Yourself tour, the response was unlike anything the band had ever experienced. Stadiums sold out in minutes. Fans camped outside for days, not out of obligation, but out of sheer excitement. And when the lights dimmed and the first chords hit the air, the sound was deafening. Tens of thousands of voices singing every lyric in perfect unison. Jungkook once said in an interview that Brazil's cheers shook the ground. That's not just poetic, it's literal. The energy was seismic. Even BTS themselves have mentioned that Latin American fans, especially in Brazil, are among the loudest and most emotional audiences they've ever performed for. Yet, the love story between Brazil and BTS extends far beyond the concert stage. Inspired by BTS's humanitarian values, Brazilian armies have made philanthropy their signature. Under the banners of different fan bases, they've organized food drives for favelas, donated to indigenous community programs, raised funds for children's hospitals, and sponsored reforestation efforts in the Amazon. When the world talks about the BTS effect, Brazil lives it every day, turning music into movement, inspiration into impact. Online, ARMY Brazil reigns supreme. They're masters of mobilization. When BTS drops a new video or single, hashtags in Portuguese dominate Twitter trends within minutes. Hashtag BTS no Brasil or hashtag Bangtan na America do Sul can appear hundreds of thousands of times in a single night. Fans translate lyrics, interviews, and Weavers posts into Portuguese within hours, ensuring no ARMY gets left behind. Even time zones can't stop them. Brazilian fans stay awake until dawn for premieres, turning nights into purple celebrations filled with snacks, group calls, and streaming parties. But perhaps the most beautiful part of Brazil's fandom is how inclusive it is. In a country of immense diversity, BTS fandom has become a safe space where people of all backgrounds, ages, and orientations come together as equals. You'll find high school students streaming on their phones next to working parents who discovered BTS through their kids. You'll find fan projects led by LGBTQ+ groups, by artists, by students, each adding their own color to the purple tapestry. It's community in its purest form, echoing BTS's message, "You are not alone." And this bond goes both ways. BTS themselves have expressed affection for their Brazilian fans countless times. In interviews and live sessions, they often recalled the warmth, the energy, and the love they felt from the crowds.
J-Hope once said that performing in Brazil felt like being hugged by thousands of hearts at once. Those words have become legendary among ARMY Brazil, a reminder that their passion truly reached their idols. Today, in 2025, Brazil continues to stand tall as one of the most active, organized, and creative fan communities in the world. Whether it's streaming records, organizing flash mobs, or supporting social causes, their devotion never falters. And as BTS prepares for their long-awaited global reunion, you can already feel the excitement rising once again in Brazil. The anticipation, the heartbeat, the love. Because for Brazil, BTS isn't just 7 men from Korea. They're inspiration, comfort, and a reminder that no dream is too distant, no pain too deep, and no song too foreign to understand. Their music has found a permanent home in Brazilian hearts, sung in Portuguese accents, but felt with the same sincerity as anywhere else on earth. That's why in 2025, Brazil proudly takes the number 4 spot among the countries with the most BTS fans. A nation that doesn't just listen to BTS, but lives them, breathes them, and celebrates them with every beat of its vibrant, unstoppable heart.
Number 3. South Korea. In the land where it all began, where neon lights flicker over bustling streets and music seeps into every breath of city life, there lies the birthplace of a phenomenon that reshaped global culture forever: South Korea, the home of BTS. Here, the story isn't just about fandom. It's about pride, identity, and witnessing history unfold before one's very eyes. For South Koreans, BTS isn't simply a band. They're a national treasure, cultural ambassadors, and living proof that dreams crafted from sweat and sincerity can echo across the planet. The rise of BTS in South Korea wasn't instant, and that's exactly what makes their stories so deeply rooted in the nation's heart. When they debuted in 2013 under a small label, Big Hit Entertainment, few imagined that these 7 young men would someday redefine what it meant to be Korean artists. In a country where K-pop was already dominated by massive agencies, BTS began as underdogs, outsiders, with nothing but determination, talent, and stories they were desperate to tell. They rapped about real issues: mental health, inequality, school pressure, subjects many idols avoided. Their authenticity resonated, especially with the youth of South Korea, who were tired of perfection and craved honesty. Slowly, they built a fan base that believed in their message before the world even noticed. In those early days, South Korean armies were the heartbeat keeping BTS alive. They attended small fan meetings in Seoul, handed out flyers on the streets, and defended the group online against critics. It was their voices chanting in tiny concert halls, their banners waving under the harsh stage lights, their letters that reminded BTS to keep going. When I Need You finally won BTS their first music show trophy in 2015, the entire nation felt it, a moment of catharsis, as if years of hard work had finally broken through. For the fans who had stood by them since debut, that victory was personal. It was proof that sincerity could triumph over the system. As BTS began to soar globally, South Korea watched with pride and awe. With every award, every record broken, every speech delivered in English or Korean, BTS carried their homeland's name to places it had never reached before. Suddenly, people across continents were learning Hangul, craving tteokbokki, and visiting Seoul just to walk the same streets BTS once did. Tourism boomed. Korean culture, language, food, fashion spread like wildfire. The government recognized BTS not just as entertainers, but as cultural diplomats, even appointing them as special presidential envoys for future generations in culture. They weren't just singers anymore, they were Korea's sons, carrying their heritage across oceans. But even as BTS reached unimaginable heights, they never forgot their roots.
They continued to honor their country in everything they did. From performing traditional hanbok-inspired outfits on international stages to embedding Korean phrases and folklore in their lyrics and music videos, BTS kept their identity close. Songs like Idol and Ditwita celebrated Korean pride, blending traditional rhythms with modern beats, reminding the world that their sound was born from the soil of Korea. And the South Korean army felt that pride deeply. It wasn't just about fandom anymore, it was about representation, about seeing their culture celebrated, not imitated. The BTS fandom in Korea, though smaller in population compared to the international army, is unmatched in devotion and discipline. These fans understand the cultural nuances, the symbolism, the unspoken layers in BTS's artistry. They attend every concert, line up for hours for fan sign events, and defend the group online against critics. It was their voices chanting in tiny concert halls, their banners waving under the harsh stage lights, their letters that reminded BTS to keep going. When I Need You finally won BTS their first music show trophy in 2015, the entire nation felt it, a moment of catharsis, as if years of hard work had finally broken through. For the fans who had stood by them since debut, that victory was personal. It was proof that sincerity could triumph over the system. As BTS began to soar globally, South Korea watched with pride and awe. With every award, every record broken, every speech delivered in English or Korean, BTS carried their homeland's name to places it had never reached before. Suddenly, people across continents were learning Hangul, craving tteokbokki, and visiting Seoul just to walk the same streets BTS once did. Tourism boomed. Korean culture, language, food, fashion spread like wildfire. The government recognized BTS not just as entertainers, but as cultural diplomats, even appointing them as special presidential envoys for future generations in culture. They weren't just singers anymore, they were Korea's sons, carrying their heritage across oceans. But even as BTS reached unimaginable heights, they never forgot their roots. They continued to honor their country in everything they did. From performing traditional hanbok-inspired outfits on international stages, to embedding Korean phrases and folklore in their lyrics and music videos, BTS kept their identity close. Songs like Idol and Ditwita celebrated Korean pride, blending traditional rhythms with modern beats, reminding the world that their sound was born from the soil of Korea. And the South Korean army felt that pride deeply. It wasn't just about fandom anymore, it was about representation, about seeing their culture celebrated, not imitated. The BTS fandom in Korea, though smaller in population compared to the international army, is unmatched in devotion and discipline. These fans understand the cultural nuances, the symbolism, the unspoken layers in BTS's artistry. They attend every concert, line up for hours for fan sign events, and defend the group online against critics. It was their voices chanting in tiny concert halls, their banners waving under the harsh stage lights, their letters that reminded BTS to keep going. When I Need You finally won BTS their first music show trophy in 2015, the entire nation felt it, a moment of catharsis, as if years of hard work had finally broken through. For the fans who had stood by them since debut, that victory was personal. It was proof that sincerity could triumph over the system. As BTS began to soar globally, South Korea watched with pride and awe. With every award, every record broken, every speech delivered in English or Korean, BTS carried their homeland's name to places it had never reached before. Suddenly, people across continents were learning Hangul, craving tteokbokki, and visiting Seoul just to walk the same streets BTS once did. Tourism boomed. Korean culture, language, food, fashion spread like wildfire. The government recognized BTS not just as entertainers, but as cultural diplomats, even appointing them as special presidential envoys for future generations in culture. They weren't just singers anymore, they were Korea's sons, carrying their heritage across oceans. But even as BTS reached unimaginable heights, they never forgot their roots. They continued to honor their country in everything they did. From performing traditional hanbok-inspired outfits on international stages, to embedding Korean phrases and folklore in their lyrics and music videos, BTS kept their identity close. Songs like Idol and Dichwita celebrated Korean pride, blending traditional rhythms with modern beats, reminding the world that their sound was born from the soil of Korea. And the South Korean army felt that pride deeply. It wasn't just about fandom anymore. It was about representation, about seeing their culture celebrated, not imitated. The BTS fandom in Korea, though smaller in population compared to the international army, is unmatched in devotion and discipline. These fans understand the cultural nuances, the symbolism, the unspoken layers in BTS's artistry. They attend every concert, line up for hours for fan sign events, and defend the group online against critics. It was their voices chanting in tiny concert halls, their banners waving under the harsh stage lights, their letters that reminded BTS to keep going. When I Need You finally won BTS their first music show trophy in 2015, the entire nation felt it, a moment of catharsis, as if years of hard work had finally broken through. For the fans who had stood by them since debut, that victory was personal. It was proof that sincerity could triumph over the system. As BTS began to soar globally, South Korea watched with pride and awe. With every award, every record broken, every speech delivered in English or Korean, BTS carried their homeland's name to places it had never reached before. Suddenly, people across continents were learning Hangul, craving tteokbokki, and visiting Seoul just to walk the same streets BTS once did. Tourism boomed. Korean culture, language, food, fashion spread like wildfire. The government recognized BTS not just as
Number 2. United States of America. Across the vast expanse of a country built on diversity, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of dreams, a new cultural revolution took root. Not from Hollywood, not from New York, but from halfway across the world. From Seoul to Los Angeles, the wave traveled fast, unstoppable, and louder than anyone could have imagined. This is the story of how BTS conquered the United States of America, the world's most competitive music market, and how millions of American fans became part of a movement that transcended language, culture, and expectation. In America, BTS didn't just arrive, they rewrote the rules. The journey began humbly. When BTS debuted in 2013, K-pop was still niche in the US, tucked away in small fandom corners on Tumblr and Twitter. But then came the turning point, their authenticity. Their music wasn't just catchy, it was real. They rapped about mental health, societal pressure, and self-love in a world that often hides those struggles. American fans, especially Gen Z and millennials, connected deeply. Here was a boy band that wasn't built on image alone, but on honesty. Songs like Run, Spring Day, and Epiphany didn't just entertain, they healed, and slowly word spread. By 2017, the buzz was impossible to ignore. BTS landed their first US TV performance at the American Music Awards, and that night, the world changed forever. Millions of Americans saw something fresh, powerful, and deeply human. Their charisma wasn't forced, it was pure. From that moment on, BTS became a household name across America. Their rise wasn't accidental, it was a storm of connection. American armies, armed with love and organization, propelled BTS up every major chart. Love Yourself Tear debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, making BTS the first Korean act in history to achieve that. Soon after came Dynamite, an English-language single that exploded across every radio station, topping the Billboard Hot 100 and earning BTS Grammy nominations. But it wasn't just their music that captivated America, it was their message. Love Yourself became a mantra for millions. The campaign resonated deeply with Americans battling anxiety, depression, and identity crises in a digital age. BTS became more than pop stars, they became role models. Today, in 2025, the United States stands as one of BTS's largest and most loyal fan bases, with millions of dedicated armies across every state, from New York's busy streets to California's golden coasts, from Texas to Alaska. American fans have turned their love into a cultural force. Every time BTS releases new music, U.S. armies flood streaming platforms, break YouTube records, and light up Times Square with digital billboards. BTS concerts in the U.S. aren't just shows, they're pilgrimages. When BTS performed at the Rose Bowl at Allegiant Stadium, tickets sold out in minutes. Fans traveled thousands of miles, camped for days, and stood shoulder to shoulder waving purple light sticks under the stars. The air was thick with emotion, screams, tears, laughter, unity. When Jungkook sings the high notes, people cry. When J-Hope smiles, entire crowds erupt. It's not fandom, it's communion. But perhaps what's most remarkable is how BTS reshaped American pop culture itself. Before BTS, no foreign language act had ever dominated so completely. But through their authenticity and artistry, they dismantled cultural barriers. Major outlets like Rolling Stone, Time, and the New York Times hailed them as 21st century icons. BTS graced magazine covers, headlined U.S. talk shows, and collaborated with global stars like Halsey, Coldplay, and Megan Thee Stallion. The Grammys, once criticized for ignoring K-pop, could no longer deny them. Each milestone wasn't just a win for BTS, it was a win for representation, diversity, and the power of global unity through music. American armies, too, have built a reputation unlike any other. They are organized, tech-savvy, and fiercely dedicated. They fundraise for causes in BTS's name, supporting Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ+ rights, climate action, and mental health initiatives. When BTS donated $1 million to BLM in 2020, American armies matched it within 24 hours. That wasn't just charity, it was solidarity. It proved that fandom could be activism. Across universities, Army student organizations thrive, hosting conferences and community events discussing BTS's artistry, lyrics, and influence. At libraries, you'll find BTS-themed exhibitions. Even academic papers are written analyzing their cultural impact. In America, BTS has transcended pop. They've become a case study in empathy and change. Yet what truly makes the bond between BTS and their American fans powerful is how personal it feels. Many U.S. armies speak of finding comfort in BTS during dark times, loneliness, heartbreak, anxiety. They talk about finding courage in Namjoon's speeches, joy in J-Hope's laughter, inspiration in Suga's resilience. For them, BTS isn't just a soundtrack, it's a lifeline. Fans have tattooed lyrics on their arms, framed concert tickets, and passed down albums like family heirlooms. Online, Army Twitter becomes a digital home where strangers become friends, and support networks form around shared love and healing. And now, in 2025, as BTS members transition between solo projects and group activities, American fans remain steadfast. They continue to fill arenas, flood social media, and demand representation. The purple light hasn't dimmed, it's only grown warmer, deeper, wiser. BTS has been invited to the White House, addressed the United Nations, and spoken about youth empowerment and self-acceptance on a global stage. All moments that American fans proudly claim as part of their shared history. To understand BTS's place in the US is to understand how far music can travel when it's born from truth. It's to witness how 7 men singing in Korean could inspire millions in English, Spanish, and beyond. It's to see how a generation craving sincerity found it not in the glitz of fame, but in the quiet honesty of 7 souls unafraid to be vulnerable. And that's why, in 2025, the United States stands firm at number 2, a nation that not only embraced BTS, but helped elevate them to global legend status. From the neon lights of Las Vegas to the snowy peaks of Colorado, from small-town dreams to city skyscrapers, one sound echoes, Borahae, I Purple You. Because in America, BTS isn't just a global sensation, they're a revolution of love, unity, and unshakable belief in the power of music to heal the world.
Number 1.
Philippines. In a country where music lives in every heartbeat, where karaoke machines fill the air with endless songs, and where love stories are told through melody and rhythm, there stands a nation that has turned its devotion into a cultural phenomenon: the Philippines. This archipelago of over 7,000 islands has become the shining epicenter of BTS fandom, the beating Purple Heart of Asia, and the #1 country in the world with the largest, loudest, and most passionate army on Earth. The connection between BTS and the Philippines isn't just about numbers or streams, it's about soul. It's about how one band from Seoul managed to find a permanent home in the hearts of millions of Filipinos who see themselves reflected in every lyric, every smile, every tear. The story begins in the early years of BTS, long before Dynamite and Butter dominated the airwaves. Filipino fans were among the first in Southeast Asia to recognize the group's potential. Back in 2013 and 2014, when BTS was still climbing their way through the K-pop world, Filipino armies were already creating fan pages, translating lyrics to Tagalog, and organizing small meetups in malls and cafes. They didn't need fame to believe. They believed from the start. And that belief only grew stronger, decade after decade, comeback after comeback, until the purple light became a national color. By the mid-2010s, as BTS began to rise globally, the Philippines had already built an army infrastructure unlike any other. Online communities were meticulously organized, fan bases coordinated nationwide events, and charity drives flourished. When BTS released Love Yourself, fans across the country took its message to heart. They didn't just buy albums, they embodied the philosophy. Schools began organizing Love Yourself awareness projects. Churches and youth groups discussed BTS's lyrics in relation to self-acceptance and mental health. Even parents who once dismissed K-pop as a phase found themselves learning members' names, dancing to Idol, and cheering along. The fandom had transcended generations. As social media became the global stage, the Filipino army took command. On Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, their energy became legendary. BTS-related hashtags from the Philippines consistently trended worldwide, often ranking #1 globally within minutes. During comeback seasons, entire communities would turn purple, users changing their display names, posting streaming updates, organizing time zones, and sharing playlists to ensure every release shattered records. YouTube data repeatedly placed the Philippines at the top of the global rankings for BTS video views, sometimes even surpassing the United States. It wasn't just enthusiasm, it was orchestration, love with precision. Yet beyond the screens and hashtags, the love is tangible. When BTS's anniversary, festa, or member birthdays come around, Filipino armies turn the streets into living tributes. Billboards tower over EDSA, glowing with birthday wishes for Jungkook or Taehyung. Jeepneys are painted in purple designs, with stickers of RM and Suga smiling from their sides. Cafes in Quezon City, Cebu, and Davao host BTS-themed pop-ups serving Borahae latte and Jimin mochi cakes. Entire parks are lit up with purple LED lights as fans gather to sing, dance, and celebrate. Every event feels like a festival, joyous, emotional, and overflowing with sincerity. But what truly sets the Filipino army apart is their empathy. Inspired by BTS's values, they've built a culture of compassion that reaches far beyond fandom. They organize blood donation drives, relief goods for typhoon victims, fundraising for cancer patients, and scholarships for underprivileged youth, all under the banner of Project Borahae. When disaster strikes, armies are among the first responders, mobilizing quickly through social media networks that spam the islands. Each act of kindness is tagged with BTS's name, not for glory, but as a way of saying thank you to the band that taught them to love themselves and love others. This generosity doesn't go unnoticed. International fan bases often point to Filipino armies as a model of what fandom can achieve when it's driven by love and empathy. BTS themselves have acknowledged their Filipino fans multiple times, expressing gratitude for their constant support. In interviews, members have described the Philippines as one of the most passionate places in the world, where energy and emotion are impossible to contain. When BTS performed in Manila during their early tours, the cheers were so loud they shook the entire arena. Even through live streams, the energy is palpable. You can feel the devotion radiating from millions of screens.
The Filipino Army's creativity also knows no bounds. They are artists, dancers, and storytellers who have turned their admiration into an art form. TikTok dance covers from Filipino fans often go viral worldwide. Fan art from local illustrators has been featured in exhibitions. BTS-themed flash mobs fill shopping centers with synchronized choreography, echoing the energy of live concerts. Fan events like BTS Fan Fiesta or Purple Night gather thousands in person, complete with merchandise booths, performances, and donation drives. And every event ends the same way, with everyone raising their light sticks and shouting, "We purple you," as tears and laughter mix under the Manila sky. But what truly cements this bond between BTS and the Philippines is emotion. Filipinos are known for their warmth, their resilience, their ability to smile even through hardship. That's exactly what BTS represents: the triumph of sincerity, the courage to be vulnerable, the light that survives the dark. Their songs mirror the Filipino spirit. Magic Shop feels like a comforting embrace. Not Today feels like a rallying cry. Every lyric about fighting, healing, and dreaming resonates with the Filipino heart. It's no wonder that fans here speak of BTS not as idols, but as family. The BTS effect in the Philippines has also shaped culture itself. Korean language classes are booming, with thousands enrolling every year, inspired by BTS. Korean restaurants play their songs non-stop, and K-pop merchandise stores line the streets of Makati and Ortez. Even local artists and TV shows have drawn inspiration from BTS's storytelling style, merging introspection with pop energy. And in schools, teachers often reference BTS when discussing perseverance or creativity, because to the youth of the Philippines, BTS represents hope. Yet the story of BTS and the Philippines is more than admiration. It's symbiotic. The same warmth and devotion that Filipino fans give, BTS reflects right back. In messages, live streams, and interviews, the band never forgets to thank their Filipino armies. When RM says, "We feel your love from across the sea," it feels personal, because it is. For years, Filipino fans have waited patiently for BTS's return, holding on to faith that one day the group will perform again in Manila. And when that day comes, it won't just be a concert, it will be a homecoming, a reunion between 7 artists and millions of souls who never stopped believing. By 2025, data confirms what the heart has always known. The Philippines ranks as the #1 country in the world with the most BTS fans. Surveys show BTS as the most streamed artist nationwide across Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. BTS-related keywords dominate Filipino social media daily. Fan bases are so vast, they operate like independent organizations. Army Cavite, Army Davao, Army Cebu, each with thousands of members coordinating projects. In cities and provinces alike, there's always an echo of BTS somewhere. A poster, a song, a smile. The purple thread connects everyone. And perhaps that's what makes this story so powerful. In a country often tested by storms and hardship, the Filipino Army has turned music into strength. BTS's message of self-love has become a mantra for healing. Their journey has inspired countless young people to chase dreams, to write, to sing, to create, to endure. Every lyric feels like a conversation between BTS and the Philippines, a promise that hope never dies, that love always wins, that no matter how far the distance, hearts will always find a way to meet. So as the sun sets over the Manila Bay and the sky glows in hues of gold and purple, one can almost hear it. The chorus of millions singing together, voices rising like waves. We are bulletproof. We are Army. Because in this country, BTS isn't just loved, they're lived. Their music flows through veins. Their message is etched into hearts. Their legacy is intertwined with the nation's own story of faith and resilience. And that's why in 2025, the Philippines stands proud at #1, the unstoppable home of the world's largest BTS fandom, a place where purple isn't just a color, it's a feeling, where music isn't just sound, it's connection, and where love, once ignited, burns forever. Around the world, from Seoul to Sao Paulo, from Jakarta to New York, BTS has built bridges of emotion, empathy, and empowerment. But in the Philippines, that bridge has become a home, a sanctuary of hope where millions gather not just to admire, but to belong. The ARMY here has shown that fandom can be more than admiration. It can be community, kindness, and change. It's proof that when music carries truth, it can cross oceans, erase borders, and touch souls. And as the purple light continues to glow, one truth remains eternal. BTS and their fans, wherever they are, share one unbreakable bond, a love that speaks no language but is understood by all. Barahe World, from the Philippines, with love.